Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know if I'm a prophet or not, by the way I come up with the names of the show, but this one is come to fruition. Milwaukee Madness. Welcome to Outlaw Radio, Milwaukee Madness on a Wednesday night. This has turned into something I honestly, when I came up with the title, I wanted to talk about some of the chaos and confusion. But figuratively and literally, if you've been watching the news, Milwaukee, there is a state of Milwaukee madness right now. I'll tell you why as we go along. Anyways, my name is Kevin Barnes. I tend to put the cart before the ox, right? So this is Outlaw Radio, man. This is what we do on Mondays and Wednesdays. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I am the world class smartass, aka the Negro Whisperer, if I can say it right, whisperer. This is Outlaw Radio, man. Share, 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 share the show. Shout out to my Outlaw family out there, everybody who supports our platform and whatnot. What this basically is a show or a presentation for foundational Black Americans. Like, the mantra is they always talk about us, they never talk to us. Well, on this show, we talk to each other. I usually have a chat room popping. There is a phone number associated with the show. And that number is 262-202-5131. 262-202-5131. If you didn't get a chance to check out Monday's show, go back and check it out. They're all archived on my Facebook page. There's an Outlaw Radio page. We have a YouTube page. Shout out to Eagle Eye Shaw LLC, Eagle Eye Security. I said Shaw, Eagle Eye Security, who's our sponsor. So and he does a great job on promoting the show. You see the ads and stuff floating around. So I definitely appreciate him. But man, what happened today? See, this is why we need to share this show, because I know I got some guys here. I'm more of a football guy, right? And I know a lot of my partners are hoop guys, like True Blue, have played at a high level and just really break down the game of basketball. And ladies, if you want to know what most arguments in the barbershop start over, it's basketball. I done seen shit start with basketball and end up with wives and girlfriends and fisticuffs, as they call it. So basketball for Black men is very, very serious. So I want to talk about the Bucks today signing none other than Dame Lillard, probably one of the best players in the top 5, I would say, players in the NBA. Y'all come on in. I want to talk about this because I love Drew Holiday. Right, right, right. And I just was like, oh, I was hoping everybody's saying they was hoping it was Middleton. Real, what it do, what it do, what it do, what it do, man.
Chilling, man, chilling, trying to get set up and shit. But hey, y'all see my lady, my daughter going to homecoming this weekend, so my lady making her a dress and shit. So
Okay.
now that's occupying my bar.
All right, all right. Shout out to your wisdom, as they say. We couldn't
So
really
for
see the
sure.
dress, but it's obviously something's being built. You got to bring it closer so we can see it. So I know
Yeah.
you ain't got no zoom on your camera. It's all good. I don't want to stress you out. You're just getting set up. Welcome to the show. Oh man, the witch doctor is in the building, man. Better late than never.
Peace, peace, peace. How y'all doing? Welcome to Outlaw Radio. When we talk that talk, and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you I am the Black woman lover, the Black man's brother, the culture, teacher, hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. I'm your holistic health and wellness coach, Kamar Carter. Peace to the family. I'm also the one who brings you nature's natural herbs and supplements, vitality, and the house of vitality. If you ain't been there, you better get there, family. Come on, kid.
I don't know how much I have to say it. Support Black business. I mean, do we have to reiterate it? I'm trying to figure it out. Like, what do we need to do? And if you have a Black business, something small or even something big, an event, something you doing that's positive, holler at us. Let's do business. Let's promote it. Let's get you on. Let's let the people know what's happening. That's what the spirit of Outlaw Radio is. I stated that before you all got here because y'all was late. That this is the platform for foundational Black Americans, and we talk about foundational
Right
Black
on time.
American shit, right? So but like I said, it's Outlaw Radio, Milwaukee Madness, and I opened the show by saying I don't. When I come up with the titles for these shows, I'm not trying to be a prophet, but literally, there's Milwaukee Madness out there right now because we signed the Bucks. We always say we. The Bucks signed Dame Lillard. who is, like I said, easily top 5 player in the NBA, to go with Giannis, who a lot of people already consider one of the best players in the NBA. So I don't know if I know, Real, you're not much of a sports cat. Kamar, I know you pay attention. What do you think about this thing? This them getting
I
Dame
like
Lillard?
it. I like it. I feel like it's more firepower for the Bucks. You know what I mean? The Bucks finally got somebody else so they could get a ball to and count on the score.
Right.
When Giannis ain't there, you know what I'm saying? He valid like that. And, he know what he's doing at that point position.
That man averages 35 points per game.
Man, look. Hey, look, man, that's 65 points a game between him and Giannis.
Right. Already.
Just them two.
Right. I mean, and it could be more because one of them might have 40. I mean,
right.
Of course, we got a new coach. You don't really know what the chemistry is going to be like. Drew Holiday, who's an important part of the championship that Milwaukee won, and so he's gone. So, but I mean, you still got Bobby Portis, you still got Brooke Lopez, you still got, for all intents and purposes, Chris Middleton, who I was hoping they sent instead of Drew, because I felt like Drew, Dame Lillard, and Giannis made it ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Deion's in the chat room. Y'all shout out if y'all in the chat room. If you're just watching, make sure you chime in on the conversation. Deion said, "What the fuck going on?" He said, "The Bucks still going to be trash." I mean, the Bucks. I don't know if it's because you from Chicago, but the Bucks have been one of the best teams in the NBA for about the last 10 years, including a championship. So I don't know what you talk about. Like they still going to be trash. When have they last been trash?
Right. You damn near can't remember
it. Mama Jenkins is in the building. She said, "Good evening, my Outlaw family. Let's make it do what it do." Milwaukee Bucks trade. Milwaukee Brewers in the playoffs. So what are his brothers gonna do? You know what? Giannis brothers is just, I don't know. It's just esteemed house guests. I don't know. People say they're athletic. Somebody said that
ain't the youngest one though. He ain't really on the team. Like he won't be sitting on the bench. Is he? Like
he
like in the D League or something like that.
Nah, they both. I think their little brother might be in the G League, but these are two of the brothers that's sitting on the bench chilling with a uni on.
Oh wow. Shit, so, I thought the third one was like a D League player who they had.
Yeah, the youngest is 2 on the team, and then there's one more. The youngest one who went to high school here, I think it's Dominican. But yeah, I mean, so I've been watching. I live in the Podverse, so I've just been watching all of the sports talk. But I don't know where Dame Lillard's from. Somebody tell me where he's from. I don't know if he's from out west. I don't know because I mean, he played in Portland. We didn't get to see the games often, but you always see the highlights. But I want to say to Dame Lillard, welcome, because you're about to see the shit. The city you about to come to. Let me tell you something, Dame. This is the Outlaw Radio Welcome to Milwaukee Dame Lillard show. I want to talk to Dame before he get here. Okay. It's Outlaw Radio Milwaukee Madness.
Let me tell you what to expect.
Right. I want to say to Dame, you're walking into a situation where the projects is 10 minutes away from a $500 million stadium. You're walking into a city that's supposedly 40% black, but 40% of those people live below the poverty line. You're walking into a city where the median income for black families is about $29,500, where their white counterparts is about 60, right? Unemployment here, I don't even know the exact percentage, but I can say whatever it is for white people is half of that, is 2 times that for black people, I should say. Because we're always 2 times behind or in front. I want to say to him, you're coming into a city where people politically downtown are going to line up to kiss your ass. Right?
You're coming into a city where you better not buy a Kia.
Exactly. And don't go to sports bars. You coming into
don't go to crap houses.
Right. Don't, yeah. Go to Pot. You got Potawatomi now. So Glenn Robinson would have been safe back in the days because he would have never been getting caught twisted.
Stay away from crap houses.
But no, you're walking into a city that for all intents and purposes for black people is hell. Public school system shitty. It's a city of very, very tall midgets, right? And all of these midgets want to be the tallest one. So you're gonna see chaos and confusion amongst black people like never before. Don't get me wrong. When you get into town with those rich white dudes and the token Negroes that they employ and that they do business with downtown, and you ride through there and they say, damn, this is billions of dollars of infrastructure invested, and you could stay in any of these luxury condos overlooking the lake, and we'll pay for it. And they're gonna take you on that ride. They're gonna take you up Burleigh Center, Buffum, Atkinson. They ain't gonna take you on the Wild Hunnets. They ain't gonna take you through all of that. Cherry Street, Locust. They won't take you through there. You'll find out. You'll find out about that later on.
The Lower East Side.
Right, East Side. Can't forget about them. So, welcome to Milwaukee, Dame. Welcome to Milwaukee. I'm glad to have you here, my brother. Now, I don't know. Once again, we don't know if he's gonna bring him one of them whack girls with him. You know, he might have him a nice bunny on his arm. We'll see. Dion says, bro, no cap. The Bucks are trash. They won a championship after 50 years. They no competition against Golden State or Boston. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a matter of opinion. Oh, well. If you care, you care. If you don't, you don't. Shout out to West Side.
Jordan.
Roger Zeladon, what it do, man? West Side. He said Oakland. Okay. I think he's talking about the similarities between us, or no. So Dame Lillard's from Oakland. He's saying, oh, well, this ain't shit to Dame. Oh, this ain't gonna be shit. He's from Oakland.
He good.
He at home. Welcome home, Dame. But my little speech can still serve you, because once you hear it, you say, okay, now I know I'm going into some real shit. It's gonna be like the crib. Let me see. Ewok said they should have traded Secret Squirrel, but Drew and Dame both run point. I understand. Ewok, I know you a hoop guy, so I surely want to get your take on this. I know you're a big time hoop brother. Mama Jenkins said he should be used to it coming from Portland. Is homeless and lots of drugs out there to the max. Portland got homeless people everywhere. Well, I mean, I'm glad this brother won't be caught. It won't be culture shock for him. He still might see some shit in Milwaukee where he'd be like, God damn, I ain't never seen no shit like that before. Because when I say Milwaukee madness, the other side of this is all this stupid, dysfunctional bullshit going on downtown. Talk about the latest organization to show that they on some bullshit. The Housing Authority. Come on. Your ass is on deck on Outlaw Radio. Yeah, man. Yeah. So Milwaukee madness all around. It's crazy, period. The mentality of our city is crazy. People look crazy when you drive around Milwaukee. When you pull up at the light, sometimes just look at the people standing on the corner. It's like, these motherfuckers look wow. Like they hungry. And they are. Poverty has run amok.
Hard life.
Yeah, man. Living very hard. Right. Marvin Gaye say on Trouble, man, I come up hard, baby. I come up getting down. Y'all got to go reference that track. That's a great one. Dion says he's not a Bulls fan. He said, I'm a LeBron fan, but I don't like no Wisconsin team. That's what's up, Dion. I respect that. I mean, I don't like every Wisconsin team. I happen to like the Bucks and the Packers. Don't like the Badgers. Really don't care about the Brewers. It's good that they're winning to justify this $200 million that they about to get laced with. Shit, they better win the World Series. Let me see. Earl Henning, shout out to you, my brother. Great day, my brothers. Go Bucks in 6, he said. I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. Dion, I know you party pooper. Man, I'm happy. I'm happy we got Dame, man. I'm happy. This is going to be very interesting, especially with the new coach. We'll see if he can even make this thing mesh, because this is a brother too, right? So you know, I'm so used to the Bucks signing Eastern Europeans. The Bucks trade Drew Holiday for Yagvlas Maraslavas. Like, what? Who the fuck is that? A wing player from Spain. He just won a world championship. What the fuck? Can't even fit that on the back of a jersey. The capo of the streets, man. What's popping, man? How you doing? You seem like you out in the field. What's good with you?
What it do, man? Headed back to my room. Just wanted to check in, let y'all know what's happening. What's happening? Dr. Carter, Professor Real, and the Negro Whisperer.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So, you know, I might just mute myself a little bit till I get in my room, if y'all don't mind. I know you might miss me, but yeah.
I won't. I promise you. Just mute. You could have just went mute. I would have been saying like, oh, well. No, we'll catch you, man. We'll catch you when you get to where you're going. It's all love. It's all love. Shout out to Sean Moore. Free Sean Moore, and he's free. Listen, I don't. I'm happy about Dame, and we're gonna talk some more about this. Because even when you talk about the Bucks, and as long as the Bucks are good, what does it mean for the city in terms of revenue? Everything come back to revenue. If you didn't know, so we'll get to that. But I do want to say that I guess a 16-year-old turned himself in today for the shooting. The what they call it, active shooter incident at Milwaukee Lutheran High School last Friday night, which I was present for. I guess he's 16 years old, and he turned himself in. I know that they went to work with plastering these young black kids' faces all over the media. And see, the thing is, I normally would complain, but I'm not this time because of the seriousness of the incident. But it's a cold game when your face is bow. When you walk in the house and your mama say, nigga.
Now, I'm asking you this question and you better not lie.
Right. You see this? Because you know every mama got a phone now, like, nigga, as soon as you walk in the house, look at this. Look at this. I can't believe this. Like, probably done got inbox and all kinds of shit before he gets home. But I want to see, first of all, what is the reasoning behind it. And I also want Milwaukee Lutheran to figure out how he got in, because you're supposed to have safeguards in place. Now, I'm not pointing the finger at them
He
at all.
walked in.
No, I know, but they're supposed to have a system set up on about who can get in. Right? They're very finicky with the admission. As a matter of fact, we purchase our tickets online. Right? So, and I'm thinking that may be the faux pas in which someone, and maybe he was allowed to purchase the ticket online, because anybody who goes through the gate usually has to show, if they're not an adult, show their school ID. So I'd love to hear, they ain't gonna put that out there, but it'll be found out. But I'm glad if this is indeed the young man, and we don't know if this was him yet, but he did turn himself in, so I'm assuming it was. I'm glad this can be brought to a close, because my son's school been closed the whole week. No practice, game canceled for this week. They lost their dance last week. No football game this week. No practice, no class, everything virtual. And so I'm like, damn, you just took with one act. Look how many kids are affected by this shit. So I'm glad he will be, he'll get his day in court. And if it was him, he need to go to jail, quite honestly. And there's no, I don't have a bleeding heart liberal level of pity for him. He needs to go and be locked away for some years, at least until he's an adult, in my opinion, and probably even into that. This is a very serious thing for you to open fire when there's probably 10 to 20 10-year-old children running in the near vicinity, and you open fire with your gun like that. This is serious. So let's not get the t-shirts made talking about free Lil Ruru. No, leave Lil Ruru in there. Lil Ruru got to go. He got to go. He'll be back in some years. What y'all think about this? Because you muted Kamar just in case you wanted to come in. What y'all think about this 16-year-old turning himself in?
Little homie need a timeout.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Just that. He need a timeout. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm curious of the backstory. Like, was he trying to get some people off of him or something? Or, I'm just curious of, like, what I mean, I guess at the end of the day, he was shooting amongst a crowd of folk, but I'm just curious of what led to it.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure everybody like to know, but at the end of the day, it really don't even matter.
It don't even matter.
It doesn't even matter if he was getting boots put to him. Yeah, honestly, like, I mean, because if that's the case, what you would do if you really wanted revenge is you would wait for them after the game. Like, okay, yeah, oh, okay, yep. But I mean, like you say, you can't tell people how to react when it's them. And I don't. My son said that there was an altercation.
Not only that, the little nigga was shooting in the air, man.
But he wasn't shooting in the air.
Oh, you said he wasn't? I thought you said he was shooting in the air. He shot in the air.
No.
No. My bad.
He was shooting level. The gun was level. Everybody, all the kids had just dispersed as soon as he pulled it out. They scattered, and he just opened fire into the space where they were at. But it wasn't in the air. It was.
Oh, okay.
He was aiming and shooting. That's why I looked to say, well, who's he shooting at? That kind of had me paralyzed. Like, okay, I see this. I hear it. I see it. what direction is it in, so I know how to react. You know what I mean? So yeah, he could have so much. This could have been such a calamity, and I've even thrown this out there. It could have been a situation where the police got there or had been on the scene, and they would have killed him. And I really didn't want to see. I don't want to see a little young brother get gunned down either. But people, like we said on the last show, would have been ready to march and demonstrate had they have killed him. Like, oh, the police killed little dude, man. All they had to do was say drop the gun and da-da-da. And people would have been on fire. Been protesting everywhere. And I'd have been standing there like, but before they got it, before they was on the scene, it was all him. Milwaukee madness, man. This is what I'm telling you. Who else? What other city saying that? Like a high school football game got shot up. You gotta love the press. They labeled this shit as an active shooter. It was an active shooter incident. So yeah, they treat him like they're giving him the terrorist treatment, and once again, deservedly so. Gotta go have a seat, little dog. You gotta go have a little seat. I ain't mad at him.
Well, I don't think the designation of a terrorist is appropriate.
You wasn't there though.
Well, I wasn't there, but I mean,
I was there.
Terrorist,
I was there.
I've seen some terroristic acts, and I don't think that designation.
I would tell you this: you have the right to call it whatever you want because you were safe and sound many, many miles away. You can label it what you want to. I happen to be standing there looking right at him. So,
hey, look, check this out. Let's look at it like this, though. Like, okay, what if he let's look at the past instances where like a lot of people done got shot, right? They got labeled like that, like a terrorist doing terrorist shit. Like, say that look at this one. If he'd have been hit a bunch of people, you know what I'm saying? It'd have been a different story then. Like, then he'd have been labeled a terrorist. We'd have been able to call him a terrorist, or like, what's the line do we have to cross to be labeled a terrorist on an accident?
I think that's a question for Sean. He walking in Potawatomi, so we got to wait till he get to his room.
But what y'all think?
I know. I said it. I called him a terrorist because I'm like you, Kamar.
I mean, but really, what's the line do you cross to be?
I don't know if people would consider it an age thing, or will people say, well, if you did that and nobody got killed, then you're not a terrorist. But my question will once again be, so if I blew up a bomb in a vacant building and nobody died, then I'm still not a terrorist? I mean, because that is an act of terrorism.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the line? What's the line do you cross? Where you're a terrorist now. Like,
it's subjective. It's super subjective. Kamar. Like, some people may say, well, Kevin, that sounds harsh. And once again, I would say to them, you wasn't there.
Because see, look, you could think of some terrorist acts, right? And this sounds a lot like it. Only difference is he didn't hit people.
Nobody got killed. God willing. I mean, God, thank God, I should say.
You know what I'm saying?
Forbid.
So, like, it's subjective, really. You know what I mean? But like, what is the line do you cross to be labeled a terrorist? Well, you got to kill 2 people, 3 people, 4 people.
I would think these little dudes flying through the intersection in the Stolies, murdering people with cars, are terrorists as well.
That can be. I think that could be labeled a terrorist act because you're putting so many lives in jeopardy. That motherfucker could explode. That car could be a bomb too.
Ewok says a terrorist has to also seek political gain. Is that what defines a terrorist?
But that's the subjective part.
Right, there you go.
He can have that. You know what I mean? That's the subjective part. You know what I mean?
I see you was listening. See, I like that. Very outlawish of you. Thank you, sir. But yeah, I mean, it's is it a tomato or is it a tomato? Right? It's all semantics, actually, because what they're gonna call him now is an offender.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So I don't know if you say, well, terrorist is way worse than offender. What's the difference between the two? Right. If you, especially if you admitted that you gotta go. Lonely teardrops. You got to go. And not life. In this case, like with the little boy, when I said the little 10-year-old killed his mama should have went in Waupon, I'm still on that. But I don't think because he took a life, right? But
Well,
in his mama's
I
life.
feel like he should go to jail too. You know what I mean? I just think it should be some stuff in place when he do go to jail to get him some help while he in there.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever happened behind them walls, it happens. I'm just saying, with this kid, I wouldn't say life. Give him about 10, 15, right? 10 in,
help.
5 out. 10 in, 5 out.
With some help.
Yeah, you got to give him some help.
He needs some help. Otherwise, he's gonna come out really fucked up.
Yeah. And then they'll do something. They got something for that too.
If don't none of them older brothers, you know what I mean, at some point of his journey, you know what I mean, get to him and get to talk some sense to him and teach you some things.
Maybe so. And you know what, Kamar, the great thing about this is maybe one day, years from now, he can come out of jail and go tell his story to some other kids and say, man, it all boiled over. This is the situation that happened. And as a result, I was locked up and this kind of thing, man. However it happens, he just needs to be sat down for a while. This is who gonna Eric. Oh, is that a troll? Is that a troll? I don't even speak that language. I'm not even. Let me get rid of little cuz. I don't do trolls. Hold on. What it do? This Outlaw Radio. I be trying to guess who it is, but I'm not gonna even try. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, kid? It's Dion, man. I'm glad you okay. You okay, man. That's the main thing, because I know you can't move that fast.
Yeah,
you know, so it's a good thing. You know, you and your son. No, for real though. You know, shit happen like that, man. You know, then we're gonna carry on. You know, we'll be sitting there, be sad and shit, crying and shit, be mad. You know, like looking back at the old videos, like you my nigga, bro. I fuck with this guy.
Well, hold on. Let me say this. You are damn sure correct, because I cannot move fast at all. And that is the reason why it was very important for me to locate the shooter and watch him so that I would know when it was time for me to get my big ass down. Because you are definitely right. I am no athlete no longer. Go ahead.
Yeah. But now we all know if that boy is not going to prison, the DA probably gonna give him some probation. And he gonna probably get in another shooting like that boy did on Juneteenth. Because remember, that little nigga was out on armed robbery or something. He had an ankle bracelet on, and he was down there at Juneteenth. I swear to God, I don't know how the laws have got so lenient now. Because back when I called my case, they was like 25 years. For what? Less than 5 grams of cocaine? I ain't even shoot nobody. You know what I'm saying? So these laws nowadays, like, they real lean. Shorty, they probably like, he turned himself in. Okay, 16. They might hold him, let it die down a little bit, release him to his mama. Because remember, he's still a juvenile. Release him to his mama. You know what I'm saying? Put him on some, you know, like what they call the people. I forgot, because I used to be on that shit. When people got to come to your house, you got to sign the thing to make sure you there.
House
he going to have his little bracelet. He going to have his little bracelet on. Yeah, he gonna have his little bracelet on, thinking he the shit, blowing bag, making TikTok. And this nigga went out there and shot at Milwaukee Lutheran School. You know, now I'm gonna clarify myself about Wisconsin teams from earlier. I don't like none of Wisconsin teams because they get so close and just choke. You know, the Brewers, they'll damn near be like, it was a couple years ago, they had one game before they could go to the World Series. It was damn near sweep the Dodgers. The Dodgers came back, beat their damn head in. Look at the Bucks last year, all season. It was hype. They had the best record in the East. The first round, the Heat kicked their ass up out of here. And we just ain't going to talk about the Packers. You know what I'm saying? I remember it was one year the Packers won 15-1 and lost when it was time for the playoffs. You know, choke like. So I just don't like that. You know, my one guy, he'd be like, well, there's other teams that do that too. But I ain't looking at other teams to do that. I'm looking at Wisconsin teams. But, you know, like I said, man, I'm glad you and your family and your loved ones okay, man. It's just, you know, it's just terrible, man, that we just can't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just be funny, though. Like, death was lingering that night over somebody And I believe in that, what you call that shit, I can't think of the name of it. It's a movie they call where people die, and like if you miss death,
Final Destination.
Death was lingering. Yeah, Final Destination. So death was lingering over somebody that night, but it missed them though. And maybe they might die another way though, but that's just crazy though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then whatever he went through or whatever transpired for him to commit that action, it doesn't justify what he did. Like you say, he could have waited, caught the nigga by himself, and I bet you it was probably some shorty probably banging his little broad or something. Because these little young niggas out here, they ain't no players, man. These niggas that kill themselves, kill the broad and everything else. I'm like, damn, it's a million women out here, my God. Like, she must have had some. You know what I'm saying? Because, nigga, you want to kill her, ain't kill yourself. That's all the coochie you ever had in your life, and now both of y'all gone. So I don't know, though, man. I just try to stay out the way, though, but, it ain't really too much going on. Yeah, my mama live in a housing authority. I used to live in a housing authority. I used to live in a You know what I'm saying? That's like that day when I seen you in the van, I said, man, I used to sleep in vans. I came up. I used to sleep in vans. You know what I'm saying? I had a Dodge van. So I got my low income in 2012. That's why I tell people don't say what a felon can't do. I stayed at Westline from 2012 to 2016. And once they tore it down, I went to Berryland. And from Berryland, I bought my house. But now they going through some things. And, my mama was a victim of some of that stuff because they kept saying they changed the payment system. And they kept saying that her payments was late and she was sending them off and charge her all type of crazy ass fees. But I guess they gonna retroact it and, I don't know, either refund her the money or credit it towards the rent. But yeah, though, but I know, and I told my guy this like 6 years ago when they built that Bucks arena, they gonna tear down Hillside. I don't care what you say, because that's like you said, it's $1 billion arena and it's poverty down there. Because one thing I have noticed about Milwaukee, though, like a lot of y'all be saying, Milwaukee is trying to get the infrastructure downtown built up. But it's a difference because I go to Chicago every other week or every week. Chicago is building up. They're building up their downtown, too. But the hood, like when they tore down the project, the hood, man, you go through there, you see them little loft apartments. Now, they Section 8 or low income.
Are you driving? Are you driving?
Hell yeah, I'm driving. Why you say that?
Because tonight you doing the Dion show. You normally say get them out. You done damn near. You done damn near looked at all my talking points. He done went from one subject to another. He got his own commercials. I need for you to let us talk.
All right. Hey, but I'm still murder mill crazy though. You understand what I'm saying? And always remember, I ain't gonna even go that route. But murder mill crazy though, always though. I'm gonna be in Indiana this weekend representing murder mill though. I'm gonna let you guys go. Love y'all niggas, man. Murder mill for life, baby.
All right, man.
All right, I'm gone. Yeah.
Shout out to Milwaukee Madness, man. Milwaukee Madness.
My nigga.
Right. The energy Dion just brought to the show, right? He said, let me call in and do my show, right? That's what's up, man. Y'all hit us up 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday night, Milwaukee Madness. And I'm gonna juggle the different topics since Dion just made me do so. If you got a comment, you want to talk about Dame Lillard joining the Bucks. Dion just talked about, the sports here getting to certain places and then not winning the championship. I don't know if you'd rather that or a team that just never gets anywhere, because there's no team that wins a championship every year. You have teams who have runs and say, hey, we had the last two, or maybe, we did the last three even. But eventually you end up a cellar dweller yourself sooner or later. So, but there has been some close calls. But within, you can say the Bucks lost last year, but didn't they win the champ? No. It was 2 years ago when they won the championship.
Hey, but you know what? That's the fun, though. That's the fun in it all. That's for a team, man. The team's gonna win. Your team ain't gonna win every year.
Yes.
And it's hardly ever gonna win at all.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You got teams that get close and then don't make it a lot. Then you got teams who get close and don't make it sometimes. Then you got teams who never get close. But
Right.
they fans still root for him. You know what I'm saying?
Stadium, right?
Because that's the fun, and just hoping that it get better, or hoping we win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the fun of it all.
Shout out to you if you're listening out there, man. Welcome to Outlaw Radio. I am Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio. I got my partners here with me. Ghetto Witch Doctor, hit him up and get some of that vitality. Catch that boy at the Sherman Phoenix. Rail got books, right? He got books and TikTok, the high frequency TikTok page. The capital of the streets is the capital of the streets, right? He's all over the place.
I am what I am, motherfucker. I am what I am.
Right. Aggressive at that when there's no need to be. Just motherfucker and son of a bitch and all the whole show.
Off capital.
Let me see. Earl, sorry, my shout out to Earl. He said the hate is real. New England lost one game. He said New York, he said just have a team that looks like it has the opportunity to win. I don't know if y'all know about the whole point of this is generating revenue, right? That stadium, if you can put up Giannis and Dame playing in the same game, that stadium is going to be full. There will be Chicago basketball fans who come here instead of going to a Bulls game, right? Timberwolves fans, Pistons fans. Like this could be the biggest game, biggest thing in town when they come in, wherever they go to play. It's like, dude, this is Dame and Giannis together. So it's a good thing.
And you got Lillard.
And yeah,
not Lillard, but Middleton,
yes.
A lot of motherfuckers like Middleton too.
Most of us wanted Middleton to be the one that got traded.
Hey, I think Middleton would be a lot better now.
Yeah, he don't have to play as much because he keep getting hurt.
He ain't got the third option. You know what I mean? He can be the shit at the third option.
Well, my son made a very good point. He said, "Dad, you seem to keep forgetting Chris Middleton is 6'7", and Drew Holiday ain't. So he's like, nah, you don't trade a 6'7" shooter away." I'm like, you do if he can never be on the court. Shit, don't do you no good sitting on the sideline. What the fuck? Y'all chime in on that. Let me know. He said, and see, I'm a football guy, so I rock with the Pack, but I don't really rock with the Badgers or nothing like that. So and yeah, they've had some close calls. But like Kamar said, I've watched certain teams just be trashed for years. Like I'm talking about go 20, 25 years without going to the playoffs.
Hey,
not a championship.
And they got loyal fans.
Man, motherfucker argued to the ground about them.
Look at the Bears.
Right. Man, I mean, yeah, if you're a Bears fan right now, it is all bad. It's all bad, right?
Right.
And they've been bad for a long time. And as good as the Bulls were in the 90s, did they win a championship? Didn't they win one in the last 20, 25 years since Jordan left? I thought they won one year.
They won none since Jordan left.
Okay. That's the Pistons who won one since the Bad Boys days was over.
Yeah.
Right. As good as they were, just one. Right. Just go to show you it's not a given. So man,
I think the Pistons won a couple of them, I think.
Well, the Bad Boys did. I think that after that they only won. Maybe so, Kamar. I'm not a basketball cat, so if you're a basketball dude, chime in on that. Now, as far as the housing authority goes, what Dion talked about was one of the first complaints, and all of this is somewhere in the People's News Network, in which there became complaints by elderly tenants who stated that they are being faced with eviction despite sending their rent in. And the housing authority somehow, some way misplacing these checks or these money orders or however they pay. And so then there's people who've come out and said, well, look at the conditions that I'm forced to live in, right? This ain't Barada Properties. This is the housing authority of the city of Milwaukee. And so then when they looked into their practices overall, the feds came in and did an investigation, and they said that change has to happen now because they're close to fraud. They're close to committing fraud. So no answers. People are demanding that the leadership step down. The brother who's over it is he used to be an alderman, Joe Davis. He just ascended to that position. Actually, it's funny because I say this about a lot of stuff. I actually used to work for the housing authority. I was a job coach in Hillside for some years. I worked in Hillside, right? One of the more entertaining experiences of my work, of my career. And yeah, there was issues then where people had complaints about different things. And I didn't work in a department that handled the rent, but I did act as a liaison with people who had to have their leases altered because of their enrollment in our program. Meaning, if you were in our program, you were immune to a rental increase if you got a job and started making more money, because the object was to get you out of the projects, right? And so there used to be a lot of confusion with that, and I would have people come to me like, "Look, I've been waiting a year for a lease. I've been literally sending in my rent, but I still have not signed a lease." And there was so many delays and this and that and whatever. So it can be a very dysfunctional place. I said Joe Davis, so I was wrong. Willie Hines. Mama Jenkins, you was right. It's Willie Hines. Of course, Mama Jenkins is right. Willie Hines, my bad. Willie. I thought it was Joe Davis. No, Joe Davis is involved somehow. I thought. Why does his name keep coming up? I'm lying on the man. People gonna be calling like, Joe, they talking about your ass on Outlaw Radio. Earl said they've been slumlords for years. This is partially true, but I think that, and this is spoken as somebody who's owned properties, sometimes your tenants are the slumlords, because you say to them, hey, I need for you to put all your garbage in the garbage cart, because when you overflow it like that and you leave garbage bags and stuff laying around like this, that brings rats. And so then next thing you know, the city's coming out, calling me, got to put rat poison down and whatever. And they would say, okay. And then I would drive by there and it just be worse. Right. And I witnessed this at Hillside when there was rats. And they said, well, listen, when you go and throw your trash in the bin, make sure it gets in there. But people just throw it and just, it's all on the garbage everywhere. So that's their fault. Right. I'm not alleviating the housing authority and their responsibility to be, treat people humanely. But I'm just saying a lot of those people who live in these kinds of spots have a mentality of, I don't give a fuck. So you drive by and you say, why they got all that shit on their porch? And, you go to their house and it's like, why they got all that? It's maybe I'm splitting hairs, because the leadership definitely should be dismissed. Let's say that. Because there's no reason they have to deal with this. But I'm just saying a lot of the people who live down there are, man. Mary Angel said Hillside has always been a horrific place to live. Let's talk about the Hillside rapists. A city allowed to plague Hillside women and children for a couple years before they started looking for him, and he still lives without conviction. A serial rapist. The city of Milwaukee never cared about the people. Wow, I'd like to know who that is. The Hillside rapist. That might have been before my time. I didn't, because I'm not. I work there.
I remember that.
You do?
Yeah, a little bit, just like vaguely.
You know what I remember? I remember the ski mask rapist when I was little. I don't know if they ever caught the ski mask rapist, but I remember him. Earl said, "Hey, they do pay people that ride around in red and white trucks all day. What do they do?" I'm gonna get to that. Mary Angel, God bless you. Prayers for you. She said I was his first victim. That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
Right? Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Prayers up to you. I hope you have been able to handle that. So it's a lot to overcome. You're right. Once again, Mama Jenkins said Joe Davis was the one that got shit going on in Midtown, all those vacant stores. Okay, let's make sure we put the right peg where it's at. Thank you, Mama Jenkins. That's why I absolutely love my Outlaw family, because what I don't know, they know, right? That's why a lot of times I'm like, fill me in. So I appreciate that. People say, no, the host supposed to know everything. Show me who he is, because I'm gonna go to class. People say you better listen to Homer Blow. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I should. Hit us up 262-202-5131. Outlaw Radio. Shout out to Eagle Eyes Security LLC. Shout out to the crew here. Shout out to the Juice Lady. I don't know if she's back from DC. I'm surprised, and she may join us as we go along. We'll see. Talk about her trip. But yeah, man, Hillside, that's something to pay attention to as well. Because like when he says, I've heard so many people say, Well, they're going to tear down Hillside. And I was just, like I said, because I was working there, I was there when HUD came in and did a meeting with the residents. And they said, well, people are saying we're going to tear it down, but we're going to actually restructure it. And so they were meeting with the residents, asking them what they wanted. And I was tripping because a bunch of them were standing up saying shit like, we want a pool. You want a pool? Yeah, we want a pool so our kids can have somewhere safe to swim. And I'm just like, a pool? Like, it just stuck in my mind. It was David saying a bunch of, we want a new park. And, the ideas were crazy. It was crazy. And I was like, I don't think they really understand what HUD is saying to them. I think HUD is saying, y'all tell us what y'all want so we can fix this shit. But it ended up that people thought it was just like, oh, they remodeling. Caller, you live on Outlaw Radio. What's good?
What's going on, my brother?
How you doing? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Errol. I'm calling from Milwaukee.
What's going on, my brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, man, I'm feeling free.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind? Talk to us.
Man, I'm talking about the Hillside thing. What's going on?
Let's talk about it. What's your take on it?
They ain't putting that museum over there for them to leave that place looking like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the museum is coming. Yeah, okay.
Right across the street.
Definitely.
Kitty corner.
Yes, sir.
So you know what's happening. So same thing when they bought all the people houses that lived on East Lloyd Street in Garfield. They knew what they was doing. The beer line looks like a gorgeous roll of Florida condos down there. If you look at it, how nice those condos look. How long you think they're gonna let that last? Hillside been pulling that. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we don't see it. We don't buy nothing but clothes. We buy expensive stuff that tears up. We don't buy expensive stuff that we can make money from. Until we change that, we're gonna always have these problems.
I agree. And that's why on our show we always try to come up with ideas and strategies to counter that. Because what can we do to change that mentality of, oh, I'd rather have some $1,200 buff glasses than investing in something or trying to start a small business? How do you change that mentality?
You show them different. You got to show them different.
Okay.
If you don't show them different, that's all if that's what they see, they ain't gonna know what's the difference. Like I tell everybody, if you want to put your money in the bank, go put your money in Columbia Savings and Loans. Go put $100 in there. If you put $100 in Educated Credit Union, or you put it in the banks that's from Pittsburgh or from Minnesota, it don't benefit us.
Okay, I agree with that.
So that's where we got to start. We got to start investing in ourselves, seeing the big picture. I mean, it's sad that Legacy Bank wasn't here no more, that they was open to help us, and look how we did them.
But some people said that the way they conducted business was less than professional.
Well, yeah, a little bit too, but it was also they gave money to people, that shouldn't have had it. I guess if you want to call that professional.
Well, no, I'm I have friends who are involved in kind of like the business world, and they say the way they ran the bank, the way they governed the bank was irresponsible and unprofessional. Like it was just people giving friends positions who had no business in banking, and that kind of led to the unwise lending practices. But overall, administratively, a lot of my business friends have said, but Kev, it was because I've harped on that a lot about, man, we had one black bank and it didn't last. And he says, well, you got to understand how that bank was run. And this is somebody whose business acumen I respect. But I don't have the inside word, so I don't know. That's why I put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I understood. I had 2 properties I got through them.
Okay, so you've dealt with them.
Yeah. So I mean, but I paid them.
Okay.
Well, that's all it is. You pay your bills. That's right. Anybody that got loans, you pay them back, you get more loans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they talking about Barada. Barada ain't doing nothing but taking the money he getting from people rent and buying more buildings.
Yeah, definitely. Yikes. Yes.
Anybody could have did that.
Some people say he was given license to like circumvent some rules, and because he's not a person of color, if you're a person of color, they put Barada-sized boulders in your way. That's what some people would say. I don't know, right? It's
no. Well, that ain't. You know what? You tell me anybody with a bunch of with at least $2 million worth of property that don't get stuff going past.
Oh yeah. With the money, of course, yeah. You generating revenue. I get that. Right. Big business, yeah. You got to pay to play. Yeah, you got to pay to play.
You talking about Jimmy got a house over there on 9th and Center, and he fixed a porch in 10 years.
Jimmy, huh?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Oh man, my brother, I'm glad you called in, man. I think this is your first time calling in. I appreciate the support, and I'm glad. I appreciate your input.
Always, man. And I was gonna send you some cash out, but I had to pay $1,000 deductible because some idiot passed me on the right and ran into me and kept going.
Bastard. Right?
Yeah. He's an idiot.
Lock him up. It stopped us from getting the cash app.
Yeah. Like I'm telling, hey, they out to. But I'm still gonna look out for y'all, man, because I see what y'all doing, and we need this.
I appreciate you, my brother, very much, and my brothers do too. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Peace.
Man, I love it. Y'all gotta love that, man. Love for Outlaw Radio, man. Give it up for that, brother. And anybody else who want to hit the Cash App, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. We love the kind that jingle, but we appreciate the kind that fold. That's what they used to say in church back in the days. But yeah, man, Milwaukee has a lot of issues, and that was kind of like what I was talking about with my little welcome to Milwaukee speech for Dame. But once I found out that he's from Oakland and Portland is fucked up too, it's the part that they don't show you on Man vs. Food. Do anybody else watch Man vs. Food besides me? It is one of the most idiotic shows, but it's like I know I'm sidebarring, but my wife and I have looked at this show and I've said, you know what, that can only happen in America, where we got so much food that we can do contests where he's eating a 13-pound sandwich and a pound of fries, trying to stuff his face, and if he do it, he get a T-shirt and a plaque on the wall. Then he moves on. I'm like, damn, look at America. That's why people around the world they like, fuck y'all. Is it jealousy? Jealous? I don't know. Mama Jenkins said, a lot of well-known people came out of Hillside. Freddie Brown, the cameraman, E.B. Gardner, and many more. Hillside is going to be gone within a year. It's too much new development in that area. And she said those banks were mismanaged. And I think she's talking about Legacy. I happened to be doing real estate at the time when Legacy came, and I wasn't affiliated through Legacy. I didn't go through Legacy, but I know a lot of people who did. And I know when they went belly up, because they actually, I think they sold they were forced to turn control over to some bank from Illinois, I believe. And people were struggling because they had their mortgages through them and saying like, man, now they telling me I'm behind in my mortgage and they're about to evict me. So it was chaos, man. It was Milwaukee madness. I keep coming back to that. Milwaukee madness. We also appreciate one thing for Outlaw Radio, for people listening. We say this every show, and we have to say it now. Have you been fucked over? If you have, please dial 202-5131. We would love to hear about it. Has the city fucked you over? Has the court system fucked you over? Has a business somewhere, some reputable business, some auto repair shop or some daycare, whatever it is, have you been fucked over? Give us a call and tell us about it if you have. This is that kind of platform. It's for the people, by the people, food by. Okay. I don't know. I was trying to come up with an acronym. I couldn't really do it. Somebody got to help me out from time to time. Hey, did y'all see this with D Wade? Now, Dwayne Wade is now talking about his son. What's the son's name? Zaya Wade. And he's saying when I guess initially when the child's mother was pregnant, is that the one by his wife? I don't know. I don't. What's her name? The actress. What's her name?
Gabrielle Union, something like that.
Yeah. So he said he was his wife and LeBron's wife, and Carmelo's wife were pregnant at the same time. Once he found out it was a boy, he was like, "Well, I'm hoping that this dude be the next NBA player. They all gonna be able to hoop together." And then he said, "Then I met my son." So he threw all hope out the window. Listen, it's been very controversial the way Dwayne Wade has like embraced his son's. I don't know what you call it now. What is he considered a transgender? I don't know what his son is. I know he's very young, and he's a boy who's saying he wanted to be a girl. Because I remember at one point he went on a date with a girl who said she was a boy. Yeah, and they had a kiss, and it was like a big deal. And we was on Outlaw Radio saying, "What the fuck?" We was like, "Wait, a boy who wants to be a girl went out with a girl who want to be a boy."
This is so mixed up.
It's so crazy, right? Like, those are the kinds of things that they get floated on Outlaw Radio, where we say things that make you say, on some Arsenio shit. But yeah, he said that he wanted, but he said he quickly, once he met his son. So it made me start to think about asking y'all, what do you do if your son says to you, not "Dad, I'm gay," but "Dad, I'm a girl, and I'm gonna start dressing like one, and I want to be a woman. Eventually, I'm gonna transition fully, and I want you to support me." What do you say to your son if he says that to you as a black man? What do you say? I don't know. Anybody can go.
I don't know. I think as far as I know, I had you. You know what I mean? You a boy. When you can pay for you being a girl, you could be whatever the hell you want to be.
Okay. Once again, I'm not saying your son says, "Dad, I'm gay." That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he says, "I am a female." It's a difference, okay? Because if your son says, "I'm gay," it's just like, okay, well, let's talk and see what we can figure out. And, and depending on how early he says it to you, you have to say, as if he says it to me very early, my thing would be, why are you talking about sexuality at such a young age? What have you seen?
Right.
Who's been messing with you? Right? Like, why are, but if he's, older, 15, and he said, it's like, yo, let's talk about it. But if he say, "Dad, I'm a girl," I'm gonna have to say, "Son, but you're not. But you're not a woman." Like Kamar said, "I held you as a child. I know what your sexual assignment was in terms of sex, the male or female. You're not a girl, son." It would probably make me sad to say to him, "Son, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you're not a girl." And I would have to stand on that no matter what he said. And I would tell him, "Son, it doesn't matter if you dress up in women's clothes. You're still a guy." I don't know how I could ever get used to saying, "Well, okay, that's just who you are." I don't know. Rel, what about you? You got grown boys. What about you?
Yeah, I do. So far, I'm 2 for 3. My 18-year-old boy lives in Arizona with him and his girl, and then my 19-year-old boy is a devout ass Christian. He sent me a video today talking about hell is real. So I don't know.
Hey, Dad. Hey, just want you to know.
I love that boy, man. I love that boy. But shit,
But that in itself, now that in itself, being devoutly religious doesn't necessarily exclude you.
It definitely does.
You know what I mean?
I was about to say, now that in it, that still does leave a
Especially
window.
if you're Baptist. My bad. Go ahead.
Might fuck around, be the minister of music or something, but
no.
music,
I was just gonna say he directed the shit out the choir.
to the best of my knowledge, you know, he seen how his daddy loved women. He seen the women his daddy used to bring around. So, hopefully that sparked him right on the
made him be religious. Like my daddy was a whoremonger. Dad, hell is real.
my post son, man. He man, shit. I'm a whole lot of shit now. I'm a witch. I'm a like all kinds of shit. I fuck with crystals and sage.
This is true. So I can see him saying, man, I don't know what's wrong with my pop.
Like my family, man, I love them. But they probably is scared for my mortal soul. But no, it's all good. I mean, shit, if any of them did say that though, first off, I would explain to them how it's biologically impossible. I'll let them know no matter what the fuck you call yourself, if I put a chair up against the wall and have you do that, you remember that test that only girls could do? Like they could bend over, pick the chair up and lift it to their chest and sit. Like it's a certain way that they hips is made that they can do shit we can't do. Also, they hips come apart. They hips come apart during childbirth. So I mean, I would explain to him what really makes a woman so
the pelvis comes apart, not the hips.
When you start having the period, I believe.
The pelvis. But I would explain to him.
Hey, when you start having the period, I'll believe you.
Do I want to know if my son comes to me with blood and says, "Dad, I'm having," like now this is going too far.
Hey, I was wrong. I was wrong all this time. You're right.
I mean, I don't know. There still is a whole lot of. I mean, first off, I would explain to him what the fuck a man is and what a woman is, and then we would start addressing that because we have to acknowledge that there's fertilizers that go in our water supply that turn male frogs into female frogs, and then we also have to acknowledge the hormones, testosterone, and all the other shit that's put in our food. We got to acknowledge how soy is in everything, which is a phytoestrogen, meaning that when it enters your body, it mimics estrogen, giving men titties and soft feelings. So there's steps we can take to try to figure out where he zigged with the zag type shit.
Okay. Erica Ville said gender dysphoria. She said transgenders. Shout out to Erica Ville. Been a while, my sister. How you doing? She said it's a lot of that going on. Dion said I would love my child from a distance. Damn, cold-blooded.
Damn. You ain't gotta. Well, shit, I'm still looking, baby. Shit, fuck all that.
I don't. I'm gonna get to it. My homie, man, he says, find out where this shit is coming from. Dialogue, ask, right? Well, that's what I said, Zales. Yeah, like what? Oh, well, what you talking about? Erica Ville said result of RuPaul Drag Race legalizing same-sex marriage and television.
See, now, that's one thing that I will say, like that I talk to my lady about all the time, because as I showed you, she's into fashion. So she actually watches Drag Race, and I make it a point to make her aware if our boy is awake. Like, hey, look, go ahead and wait till he's sleeping shit, because I don't need that confusion on him. I'm an adult. I've always been knowledgeable of how theater started with men dressing as women and shit like that. But I don't need him to see that shit, nor do I need to see I don't need him to see his mother idolizing people like this. Because sometimes as parents, we don't realize that our kids want our attention. So they're going to observe who we give our attention to and try to take on them traits or mimic that shit. Because if this is where all my parents' attention is going, maybe I get their attention if I emulate this shit. So, it'd be deeper than just that, that shit on Front Street. So I try to be more aware about what's watched around my boy, because I got a 2-year-old boy now who got, like, his older brother's outside the house, so all he got is sisters to play with, and then his mama watched RuPaul Drag Race. So I got to be extra diligent in making sure there's no confusion.
Mama Jenkins said, "Tell him like my uncle told his son, you a motherfucking boy with a fic." She said, "And go get you a woman." Roger said it's still a C. This is very true. She said, "You're a boy with a dick, so go get you a woman and get some coochie." She said she would have told. I mean, that's what her uncle said to his son. Erica Ville said, "Recognize what television does to the subconscious mind." I've heard those theories. Westside said, "If you believe in a higher being, are you saying that being is wrong?" Earl said, "I love my kids from day one, family, and forever love them." I would say this once again. I made the distinction. The conversation is not necessarily about if your son or daughter says he or she is gay. Y'all understand the difference, the differences here.
Right.
I said he says I am a woman, Dad. Now, what I can't tell him if he say he gay and he has his mind made up and maybe that's the way he really is, I have to say, son, I don't agree with that, but I you're gonna have to live your life the way you live it because you're gonna have to answer for everything you do. I don't agree with it, but you're still my son. I'm not gonna kick you out the house. You just can't be gay in the house. I don't know. I mean, people don't understand. Like, you won't have your boyfriend here. Like your guy can't come over to eat. Like none of that stuff is happening.
Like after Thanksgiving or nothing like that.
No, not here. Now, if you want to leave here because you're still part of the family and you're welcome. If you want to leave here and go with his family and they have dinner and you welcome over there, that's cool. If you say, Dad, well, if he can't come, I'm not coming. Then I'll say that's cool as well, son. But you're welcome to come. I'm not telling you can't come by my house, but these are my rules in my house. If you say you're a woman, I'm going to say, son, let me explain biologically why you're not. And that's why I talk about the cycle. And that's why I would talk about the biological differences in having a uterus and fallopian tubes versus just having some balls and some kidneys, right? Like, so I would tell him no matter how hard you try, even if you had surgery, your identity from God is as a male. And I'm not going to allow you to be a woman around me. Okay? That's how I would put it. So, and y'all let me know what y'all would think of. I mean, what y'all would say, because obviously you're going to love your baby. Like, it's like, Lord, and I don't know that people who experience this when their kid says, hey, I'm of an alternative kind of ideology. I don't know what kind of stress they go through. I don't know if they say, like, because I was watching Winning Time, and it's a shame Winning Time on HBO got canceled, or it's Max now. It was the story of the Showtime Lakers. If you got Max, go watch it. It's dope. Man. I mean, it's one of the best TV shows I've seen in a long time. It's gotten caught up in some whatever, and so they canceled it. And I know that a lot of the original Lakers have said, hey, how it happened in this.
Yeah, Magic didn't like it.
They said that, there's some issues, but the shit was knockout. And so I'm looking at young Magic and him being this kind of addicted to sex kind of dude, and we know what happens. And then I think about his son, and I say, I wonder was Magic tripping when his son just really, started dressing like a woman. Like, was he? You say what you say in front of the cameras, but I wonder was Magic really like, ain't this a bitch? Like, I was hoping you be the next one because he's like 6'7". It's like, I guess I'd have to ask Dwayne Wade.
His son probably a beast on the court too.
Probably could take them heels off and take your ass to school. Like, don't get it twisted. I grew up playing my daddy in 101. Like, he was hoping I would come out of this shit. Erica says girls are transgender too, not just boys. I just met a lady who had a double mastectomy and is taking testosterone. Oh, we know that. We're speaking, and I guess I'm just kind of hogging it with thinking my son. What if my son said? What if my son said? But it would have been as equal if my daughter had said, "Hey, Dad, well, I'm a guy." Baby girl, no, you ain't. No, you ain't.
Walking around with a utility belt every day and shit. Just
right, she fixed cars better than me. All right. Says she wants to be called they or them goddamn pronouns. Oh my God. Eagle Eyes, my brother, I will hit you after the show because I got some stuff I want to talk to you about, some ideas I want to run past you. Shout out to Eagle Eyes Shaw, Eagle Eyes Security, LLC. It's our sponsor right there. Zelena said, my father point blank, we know punks. I'll kill you first. Not in our family. Zeladon is also Nicaraguan, though, right? That's my guy. But Zeladon is Nicaraguan, and he always tells me about his dad being a real straight up Nicaraguan dude. Like, there ain't no DeBarge. This dude is Nicaraguan. So shout out to Zelly, man. That's my partner right there. Yeah, I mean, y'all let me know how y'all feel. That's what the show is about. Let's share alike. You want to call in, the number is 262 262-202-5131. That's 262-202-5131. Subscribe to the YouTube page. I seen that people have been sending me a lot of friend requests. I was hesitating on the friend request because I got tired of like Africans hacking people page, and I'm assuming they was African, which is bad of me. Just sweating the shit out of me through Messenger. Like, stop messaging me. But I am starting to accept a lot of the friend requests. So if you are one of those people who is listening to the show because you just jumped on through the ads, you saw the ad for the show somewhere, this is what it's about. Feel free to join the conversation. If you got a business, if you got something that you're doing that's positive or progressive in the community, hit us up. Let's promote it. It doesn't do you any good to have a business and nobody knows the shit's open except your mama and your auntie and your cousin in them. You gotta let everybody know. That's why everywhere you see Kamar, it's Shot Cam, House of Vitality. You know, Chinese, Asian, light skin, dark skin.
Motherfuckers be looking at me crazy and shit. I be standing up on tables, recording a video and shit, man. I get all the attention, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, you got to promote it, and I think that's why I decided to
rep your shit, rep your brand like your life depend on it. You know what I'm saying? Rep your brand like your life depend on it, because it do if it's your shit.
And I like I said, I decided myself to just kind of put forth more energy on pushing Outlaw Radio out. So that's why Eagle Eyes and our conversation was like right on time, because I had started to think like, I got to start pushing this brand a little bit more. And it ain't over. Believe me, it's so much coming up that it'll make your mind spin. But it's Outlaw Radio, and that's what we do. You know, as far as that goes, like, I think we're living in a world now where we are, my generation is now more informed about these kinds of things, because my dad's generation, a lot of them fathers, if you told him you was gay, he was going to try to beat it out of you. And a lot of gay dudes say that, like, you know, that came from the old school, say like, my father, he literally just, he couldn't stand it. Like, it just, because he probably was the object of ridicule amongst his friends. And, you know, like, people, he worried about how people look when, you know, you shoot, because as a man, you like to poke your chest out, especially with your sons. With your little girl, it's, you know, you pretty little precious girl, you keep her, you got it. It's my baby girl right here. You holding her down. Yeah, ain't nothing happening right here. I got you, baby. With your son, you kind of like, yeah, this is my boy right here. There you go. And he's, hey, how you doing? God damn. Go
you
get
know,
your brother.
As a father, I guess as a father, it's expected that your presence will keep both your son and your daughter out of Clear Hills. So you know what I'm saying? So
right.
that it's like, that's the gauge of father. So a lot of fathers back then, for their son to be wearing heels or some shit, they felt like they failed, or for their daughters to be strippers, they feel like they failed. So that's probably why they took it so hard, you know, seeing that their son may be contrary to what he believed he should be.
Yeah, and that's the old Chris Rock joke where he said when he first had a daughter, he looked at his little girl laying in the bed and he said, I realized at this point, my number one job is to keep you off the pole.
Right.
So, but, you know, stripper culture is so pervasive now. You know, I like, now it's like, that's what I'm saying. We have to father in a different way and keep some of those old school kind of structures for our kids as Black men, as foundational Black Americans. But we also have to be a little bit more evolved. Like, I can't just punch you in your shit because you say you gay, because that's not gonna ungay you, right? Like, ooh, Dad, thank you for blacking my eye. I'm so masculine now. We got to figure out different ways to process it, to say, man, I might have to go to therapy. I have to get this dude some counseling. I got to figure out where this shit came from. You really got to try to figure out where it came from and say, okay, because then you can understand it better. But if you just like, no, I can't take it, you're gonna end up choking him out. Like, it'll be a bad thing. But once again, in terms of gender reassignment, I have to take a step and say, no, you're not a girl. I don't care how much he argues. He could go and get surgery and come back and say, Dad, look at me. I was still saying, you massacred yourself. I was there when you was born. You are not a woman. That's just that. But, you know, at least D-Wade said, he said, well, you know, I wanted him to hoop until I met him. I like the fact that he said, until I met my son. Not when he was a little baby and it was all good. When he started to figure out who this little dude was, he said, so I guess, well, somebody said, well, maybe he'll go to the WNBA. I said, that's a bad joke. That's a bad joke. It was too soon. For me, it was too soon. I don't know if y'all seen the latest controversy, right? This is something else I'd like for people to chime in on. So everybody knows Umbrella. I don't know if you know this, brother, but Kamar, I know you do. Do you all remember the rapper Special Ed? I do, of course.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it made.
I got it made. Special
boom,
Ed,
boom,
right?
Boom, boom. I got
Right.
it made.
Special Ed
I used
had
to
a
want
pretty.
that hovercraft he was driving in and shit.
Oh, that was the next, which wasn't okay. So I didn't like his second album, but Special Ed is a rapper from the late '80s who people really loved, and he had a hit song. He didn't have the career that you might have thought he would have if you judging by how he started, but he stayed around, had 3 or 4 albums, and then I guess he became a very prominent promoter and studio owner. And got real involved in the other side of the music. But he came out, he was on Drink Champs. I live in the Pieverse, so I watch Drink Champs sometimes, even though Nori annoys the shit out of me sometimes,
Man,
because like he's interviewing Big Daddy Kane, and I'm getting so pissed off. Like, would you shut the fuck up and let him talk?
make some noise.
I just don't no. I just let me understand. Let me understand. It's like, dude, let him talk, man. Or sometimes he's asking a question and the person just said it, like he just answered it. Like the person say, "Well, I got hit in the head with a lock," and then he said, "So did you actually get hit that night?" I just said I got hit in the head with a lock. This is like that. Nori annoys me sometimes. But back to what I was saying. So he's on there.
Podcast doing his thing though.
Oh man, just out of this world, and you never saw it coming. Never saw it coming, right? Like really. But so he's interviewing Special Ed, and Special Ed, they start to talk about the eras of rap, and this is a very big thing, and when I had Geechee Dan from Sirius Satellite on here, and we were talking about hip hop and its evolution, and Special Ed said that NWA started the destruction. They brought in the destruction, the phase of destruction for hip hop music and black culture. Their music is what started the destruction of hip hop. And he stated that, you look at, because the FBI got involved, and once it was from there, it just went and got worse and worse. And so he was saying that NWA was the ones who did it. So this got it's pretty controversial. I guess a lot of the West Coast rappers, like Exhibit, was like, dude, we still active. You better be careful what you say. I mean, you go somewhere and get twisted. I mean, the West Coast is totally different from anything that we could imagine. I've never been there. That's Roger Zeladon, who's my homeboy, who's on the show. Is from Los Angeles, California, South Central, and he talks about California being a planet of its own. So when you say something about West Coast rap or West Coast music, and you go out there, there's no telling what might happen to you. So I thought it was very controversial, and then I thought about it by saying, if you're telling me, because his justification was, well, NWA came, and then the culture, the conscious rap kind of went away, and now we got teenagers killing each other, and over nothing, and in every city. And I'm like, well, Mr. Ed, I don't know if you know that was happening before NWA. I don't know if he understands that COINTELPRO and J. Edgar Hoover have had their thumb in every. We talk about them all the way to Bunchy Carter being murdered, with the US movements, and y'all guy who came up with Kwanzaa, Karanga. Y'all love him so much. We talk about that kind of stuff. Look at what happened to the chairman, Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. The FBI has always been in our business, and we've always been killing each other for little or nothing. I remember being in Milwaukee in the early 80s growing up, and it wasn't as common as it is now, but it was bodies. Gang fights where people got stabbed, beat to death, it's always been that. So I don't know if you could hang that on NWA. I do understand what happened to rap music once NWA came along, right? And I watched this happen where for so long as a hip hop crowd, we were looking at like, oh man, we black and it feels good to be black, and power to the people. And then you start saying, why the fuck is all this shit that's done happen to us, and we still, and you got tired and you say, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna go buy me some name brand shit. I'm gonna go buy me a Benz. I'm gonna get rich on them. That's how I'm gonna do it. So material things became important. I would say the bling bling era of rap did more to destroy the culture than NWA did. And I do understand East Coast dudes know they lost their shine after gangster rap came in because the West Coast just took the rap game over. I understand that. But I think the bling bling era, when it just became so watered down and so senseless and material that it had to implode, I would say that. But I definitely don't think NWA brought the destruction to the culture, like he said. Kamar, what you think? I know you was a former lyricist.
I don't think destruction would be the right word to use. You know what I'm saying? Now you talk about gangster rap. Like, now when I first heard NWA, dog, that shit blew my motherfucking mind, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was just blatant with shit. They talking about their lifestyle out there. And you know what I'm saying? It was just like a wild thing. And I think, like, really, like, lyrically, like, as far as motherfuckers cussing and being like, man, fuck the radio. Fuck that. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, okay, they may have been the first people to kind of take hip hop that way. You know what I mean? But destruction now, because they were still political. You know what I mean? They was, if you really listen to the lyrics, they wasn't just talking about killing motherfuckers or shooting the police. And you know what I mean? They was talking about what was being done. They was talking about, you know what I mean, police brutality, as well as other rappers that was coming out right behind them. Even the 8 Ball and MJGs. Shit, they was political. You know what I mean? Right. Too Short even got political. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can't say that's where the destruction of hip-hop came, because hip-hop is when you talking about all that. Hip-hop is talking about how we live right now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I don't agree with that, but in a sense, I see if that's where he was going with it, what I'm saying. I could see that.
Okay. And Rel, I don't want to leave you out the conversation, because even though you are a few years behind us, you still happen to be very knowledgeable about a lot of the music from our era, because I see you post a lot of it in our group, and I'll be like, what that young boy know about that? But I know somewhere along the way, you was sitting in somebody's backseat hearing some of the shit that we used to bump, so you know about the music. But that bling bling era for me, I actually stopped listening to rap during that time. I started listening to funk. That's when I really got into Parliament. Like, I don't even want to hear this shit no more. So what do you think about it?
Right. I think I think once hip hop got infiltrated, it just progressively de-evolved throughout the ages. But with each one of those ages, it was almost like a different demographic got the mic to speak on what they dealing with from a perspective that they have. Like, I mean, New York, when I grew up, New York was the party, you know, Kid and Play, you know, shit like that. I'm either the best MC or I'm the best dancer at the party. But it was
rapping about being a rapper.
Right. It was more party oriented and shit. But then when, like, just like you remember they used to be mad at Common because he had that song, I used to love her.
Sucker shit. Yeah.
And they was like, damn, why when it got to the West, it got all fucked up? You know, but so it's the people had that same view. I mean, like I said, New York was the party shit to me. I think West Coast was a bunch of motherfuckers. They finally got they mic and they could speak on the shit they dealing with. And it's like, hey, man, we selling dope and buying guns to survive. And we, you know, they were more gang culture. But then when it went to the South, like you said, the bling culture, you dealing with some dirt poor folk that shit ain't had nothing. So it's like when they got the mic, it's like, shit, I'm having things now. Look, I got a gold. Like I remember Master P had a I remember I first seen his house on Cribs and he had like the gold flow and shit, gold ceiling. Yeah. And I'm like, man. So I think it's just different demographics speaking on their issues from their perspective, while the hip hop as a whole is just de-evolving because it was infiltrated and weaponized and pimped out.
Well, okay, so let me say this. This is, and I've had this conversation. Y'all gotta understand, this is the music of my generation. So we talk about hip hop on the show all the time. I've had this conversation with several brothers from New York. We had a MC Shan, who's a pioneer from New York, from Queensbridge. Original Juice Crew member, was on the show, and he and I kind of went back and forth about the West Coast dynamic versus the East Coast dynamic. But my thing is, most of those dudes are hypocrites, and I'm gonna tell you why. And even Special Ed doesn't realize how hypocritical his statement is. It's because you could say that NWA brought the death and destruction, but if you look at what was going on in New York at the time of his career, when you had the Supreme Team, when you had Fat Cat, when you had these legendary crack cocaine mobs that was terrorizing the Bronx and Brooklyn, and now you get paid in full, you get movies, and these dudes is legends, and you get all of this. So you're going to say the dudes who rapped about what was going on brought on the era of destruction, as opposed to the dudes who's actually destroying the community in your city. They didn't bring on destruction, right? It was the rappers who did it.
Gangsters and stick-up kids and shit. That's all you hear about.
And most people say the only real gang member in NWA, the only real gang members were Ren and Easy. And Cube's not even from Compton, right? So you say, well, it brought on the death and destruction. No, maybe the crack that was being sold out of New York that spread all over the East Coast, right? It spread. DC, Virginia, how many East Coast drug dealers was moving through the Midwest? Just like the West Coast, right? So I can't blame them for talking about what was going on. It is a fact that when they spoke on the abuse of the LAPD, it was factual. We've looked at the Rampart, talking about what they were doing to brothers and sisters out there, right? You talked about Rodney King happened during this time. We saw this shit on videotape. So I'd have to tap him on his shoulder and say, excuse me, brother, have you been fucked over? And I know a lot of New York dudes have that bias because it took the control that they had over the culture away from them. Of course they didn't want to share that mic. They wanted it to be New York's forever. But the people, meaning the people who buy records, we decided we'd rather hear this than that. They don't never give credence to the people made a choice. Nobody made us buy Dr. Dre records. We said this shit sounds better than the shit we've been listening to all these years. So we're going to start buying this. And the value and quality of their music fell off at the time too, which is why I would allude then to Special Ed's second album. It wasn't as good as the first. And you never made anything after that was even close to what was coming out of the West, right? I think he has to examine that, right? I could pull a E40 or a Spice One or a Mac 10, somebody like that out, and you have no material that could compare to their Special Ed. I mean, you still talking about I got it made. That's cool. It's cool. But just, I think sometimes people speak before they think, and so I hope nothing comes from it. I seen him today. I was trying to hear, I guess, an IG live where he had Corrupt and a couple of the other West Coast artists on with him talking about it, and everybody saying, well, we got love for you. And he said, well, I got love for y'all too. And I respect NWA, but your explanation of it, especially when you start talking about the FBI. Once the FBI jumped on it, stop it. Once Giuliani came to New York and you went to Manhattan and tore down all the porn theaters, right? I think that brought forth the gentrification of y'all neighborhood, because New York is gentrified like a son of a bitch, right? Those classic rap hoods where they are Harlem and all this is gentrified.
That's where they started at.
Yeah, y'all NWA didn't make that happen. Fat Cat and the drug dealers in Queens had the young cop Edward Burns killed, I believe, in 1988. That wasn't no MWA wasn't popping like that in 88. When we wasn't on that, maybe they was released, but it wasn't the phenomena that it came to be. So I just think New York dudes can be a real hypocritical because they keep referring to gangster rap coming as the destruction of hip hop, when in actuality, from an economic standpoint and from an influential standpoint, it took rap to a whole nother. Black people say nother. It's other. It's not nother. Black people kill me with that. Like, I went to a whole nother level. No, you didn't. You went to a whole other level. Sometimes I just don't be having time to correct them, right? But, and then, like I said, as rap progresses, we get to this bling bling era that's just, I start seeing shit. I start seeing people losing an ear for what really was hip hop, and these jingle jangle ringtone rappers, and it's, all of this bling bling. Every time I pull it, I ring bling bling. That was more destructive to our people, I think, than seeing the truth and saying, hey man, these police is fucking us up. as opposed to get a Rollie, get a platinum grill, put spinning rims on your car. Because then people went head first into the drug culture. I got to sell some dope. I got to do something. I got to get out here and look like Juvie and them. So I think they did more destruction to the culture than any other movement. And that's what young people. I keep telling people that was the period where I just couldn't really stomach rap anymore. I just stopped. I just went and started buying Stevie Wonder's greatest hits, the anthology, and Johnny Guitar Watson's greatest hits. I went knee deep into the historical context of Black music. I wanted to hear the greats. I wanted to hear real instrumentation and creativity. So I took I think unless Devin the Dude made an album, I wasn't really listening for a while. So, and I was teaching school. So I was seeing the effect that some of the influence was having on the youngsters. And I'm like, dude, you coming in with a 5X t-shirt and you a 28 in the waist, you got on some 42 jeans, like, bruh, like you look stupid. But that's just how it goes, man. But this is something sisters are mad at. Sisters are mad right now. Sisters are mad because Travis Kelce, the tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Travis Kelce, I keep saying things happen sometimes, and we just either had discussed them prior to it or during it. And we're always talking about the weight of interracial relationships and, the narratives of it. And so Travis Kelce, who's the star tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, won the Super Bowl, had the sister with him. Everybody was, black woman was like, oh, gone girl with your white prince and all this. And he had the hip hop look and he looked borderline wiggerish. And so I think black women kind of held out for, he likes black women or he likes black people. So he's been off and on with this girl. She became an internet sensation. He's, they're it couple. Well, I guess he done went and hooked up with Taylor Swift. Now, somebody help me because as a black person, I don't really understand the gravity of Taylor Swift. Like she's a huge star. She's sold millions of records. I can't name one Taylor Swift song. Right? So if y'all know one or y'all can tell me why she is the star she is, please help me. But she was at his latest game in the booth with his mama. I don't know. I don't know if the sister was ever in the booth and mama was there. I don't remember because I was just entertained by the whole notion. But sisters is mad now, like because he didn't clean up his image. He don't look wiggerish no more. He got a state trooper beard and goatee now. He's with Taylor Swift, and they showed the side by side comparisons. It's funny as hell. These are memes that have been up. I put up, and it's pop culture, I understand, but it's relevant to when we talk about interracial relationships and why black men and black women really need to get it together. So have any one of y'all seen this? Do y'all think sisters got a right to be mad because he shook Taylor Swift is uber rich too. Let's put that out there.
No, they ain't got no right to be mad, man. Fuck him. He could be in a relationship with whoever he want to be in a relationship with. Okay. That's what they get. That's what they get for jumping all out the window and shit when they seen him with a black girl in the first place.
Okay.
If they mad now.
They was hoping for a little, but they say half-breed babies are the most beautiful people in the country.
Stop that shit.
They was hoping for, they was hoping for this. Well, what you think about this brother getting? They said when you go black, you don't go back, but I think he bucked the trend.
Shit, I mean, he might just like women, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times when you fucking with a woman, she gonna kind of alter you to how she like you to look anyway.
Yeah.
So that might have been old girl having him do the Paul Wall look and shit. But I mean Taylor Swift, yeah. Paul Wall he been married to a black woman forever.
I know Paul Wall. Paul Wall, they was just talking about how he looked now, like he don't look wiggerish no more. He's old, first of all, like us. So he's and they say you don't look wiggerish no more.
But yeah, I mean, shit. Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. I think she about to do almost like $1 billion in a concert tour right now.
What?
I think they said it's about to be 700-something million by the end of this tour. So I mean, shit. If he got with Taylor Swift and her PRs told him he gotta look a certain way to fuck with her, he ain't about to mess up that Taylor Swift bread. That's They said she might end close to $1 billion at this tour.
That's a whole nother level.
Exactly.
Level.
Listen, but here's the deal. They said this happened in a week when I guess there had been some indicators, and I don't keep. I say I live in the Podverse, but I don't keep up with celebrities. I mainly just watch YouTube a whole lot, right? But they said I guess they had kind of teased that they were reconciling and getting back together. I don't know, and then they said, then he gonna do this to her and bring. That's how they do you. But I'm just saying, I think for him, and I'm speaking from a man's perspective, a man with a career, who the room she takes him in are totally different from the rooms because the sister ain't there yet. I guess she's an aspiring model. God bless that sister. She may become some kind of mogul one day, but right now she's not. So the rooms that Taylor Swift is going to take him in are rooms that could equal him having opportunities way longer than his football career will last. Like if he's going to go in a room with Taylor Swift and some executive from General Electric is going to come up to him and say, "Oh, I'm such a fan. Look, we've also we got an ad campaign," and boom, right? I'm not. You might have been on Black Twitter with the sister, like he was twerking in front of him and shit. Like he. I don't know. I'm not under the assumption that just because she's white, she's right. But I mean, like you said, this is Taylor Swift. She's a Beyonce level kind of commodity, right?
Look, she beat Beyonce. That's why Kanye grabbed the mic. It was like, no,
okay, so that's why Kanye. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Sharon Evans said Taylor is like Beyonce, good management. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm sure if you want to deal with her, it's got to be she gonna be like, hey, well, you can do anything you want. I like you the way you are. If he's smart enough, he'll find a compromise instead of doing everything she say. Because that's how you really get fucked over. And then he'd be calling the show like, hello? Yeah, my name's Travis. I've been fucked over. Somebody told me to call the show. That was a good impression, man. Y'all missed this shit. I gotta pay attention, man. And since we talking about football, are you all familiar with Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, aka the Cheetah, the fastest man in the NFL right now. Just Ferrari fast. Miami just scored 70 on the Broncos the other day. So this tells you, and he's one of the receivers on that team. He's on the interview, and I don't know if he's joking or not. He tends to be a dude that's, kind of out there with the media. He says, they said, well, you said you intend on retiring in 3 years. Because you've done all these accomplishments, 7 or 8 Pro Bowls, you got a Super Bowl ring and got all these records. And he said, to be honest with you, when I retire, I'm going to become a porn star. He said, honestly, I'm serious. I want to be a porn star. And so everybody's tripping like, is he serious? But so porn stars right now, and I've seen this, there's an article. I didn't put this in the People's News Network. There's an article about it. It was called Redemption. And it was talking about how a lot of porn stars now are utilizing social media to talk about how they've changed their lives and how they're like now self-help gurus, like actually trying to sell books and do speak like conventions and saying, I want to help people and help people avoid the mistakes. But when you go back and look at some of the movies some of these stars have done, it's like, do I really want to take advice from you? My question is, especially for a man, like, is there redemption for the porn star? Say Tyreek Hill does this. Does it totally destroy his legacy as an NFL player? Because I'm thinking if he does this, he'll never get in the NFL Hall of Fame, and he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Or is the stigma still there? But like, so Rel, would you say, okay, well, she's a porn star, but my girl wants to go to her and hear her speak and give her advice on her life? Where you at with that? Because I know you're a little bit more liberal than others with that kind of stuff. Where you at with that? Can a porn star find redemption?
Shit, I'm pro sex work as long as it's consensual. But real shit. One of my favorite porn stars, her name was Kitten. She's actually a personal trainer. I follow her on Instagram. She's a personal trainer and a self-help person, and she help people get their shit together. Then there's other porn stars who are now helping women with sexual trauma and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But so with me, I've always been a hustler, man. You know what I'm saying? However you get your money, as long as you ain't pushing down old people or selling babies and kids, get your motherfucking money. You know, so I don't look at it like, oh my God, you did porn back in the day. You are a horrible person, you know, because that was they lick at the time. They made, I don't know what drove them to that. You know, some of them may have been drove to it through trauma. Some of them may have just looked at it as a business thing. Like I said, there's one of my favorite porn stars, Kitten, who is now a personal trainer, but then there's other porn stars I grew up watching and liking that are just back to hoeing. Well, they don't call it hoeing, but you know, they'll call it like
back in the industry.
They call it a personal link up. You can book them for a personal link up. You know what I'm saying? So, and whatever they do, I guess, is whatever they do type shit.
So okay, but I asked you this question too, even with Kitten, right? Like, and so you talking about 90s, early 2000s, like, you know, stuff I'm familiar with, to say the least. Okay, some of the movies, when you look back at some of the stuff these sisters did, and this, I gotta find an article because it had like they interviewed like 4 or 5 different people from that. I mean, black people, black stars from that era, and they said, well, you did a movie with white dudes with Confederate flag shirts on, and you let them basically just do whatever to you. Like, what right would you could say I made a mistake, but the question is, okay, so, but since you made a mistake like that, I don't value your input as somebody who's trying to tell me how to straighten my life out now.
They may not see it as a mistake. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They might have been like, shit, okay, there's motherfuckers who play.
Do you not think that was a mistake to do that? Like, I mean, once again, it ain't what you do, is how you do it.
So you're talking about like, because there are niches to where black women will get like debased by white dudes and disrespected.
Ghetto gaggers.
Ghetto
gaggers.
Like the ghetto gaggers, shit like that. I mean, again, my thing is that's what that was what how much your character was worth. You know what I'm saying? It's like you did that for the pay, whatever reason you did it. I mean, I can't say, oh, because they did that shit, they are of no value or have no wisdom. That shit might have been what gave them the wisdom.
Would you personally, if you had you were single, whatever, and you met this woman and she was cool and she's into me, she pleases me, I love this girl, but then you turn on the DVD one day, I'm old, maybe just on the internet, and you see this girl with 8 dudes in Klansman outfits gang banging her, doing whatever to her, and just leaving her a mess. Do you stay with her? Do you say, well, baby, I understand you changed now? Or do you say, you got to get the fuck up out my house? What do you like? You know, it's that Dave Chappelle skit when they doing real sex and they asked this girl what she said. One time I did a gangbang and he was like, what? Like, is that okay? You got to get the fuck up out my house. So where you at? If she says, well, I changed, real, I changed.
You know, I'm a different type of dude. Like, I don't look at shit like, I mean, my thing is this, like, dude, I talk to women, and there's a lot of women who use my inbox as a safe space to let me know, you know, some of the shit they've thought about or some of the shit they've been through, some of the shit they did. And there are a lot of women who, just like a lot of men fantasize about being with more than one woman, there's a lot of women who fantasize about being with more than one man at the same time. I don't know, you know, maybe it's more like a power thing or some shit, but I look at it like, okay, were you safe? Are you still that way? Can we build
pee on you?
Huh? Were you
watching this movie saying they peed on you? Like, it's like,
did she get tested after the shit and she good?
Or piss? I don't. Okay.
You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, shit. Were you safe? Did you make sure you ain't got no residue from the shit? Are you doing the shit gotta be together? Or you know, so it's like me. I ain't tripping off that, man. You know, I had a friend who
residue, right?
Yeah.
You know where you at? Where you at? Because you looking down trying to avoid the conversation. I need for you to come on in, like you say. Y'all better come on
man,
in.
I'm listening to real, man. I'm listening to real.
I mean, because you know, I look
at
it
this
like,
how I feel. Like, me personally, I wouldn't until I had a chance to really talk to her. You know what I mean? You're talking about somebody like that becoming some kind of counselor or something, right? That can help me with my life. Yeah. So like I really would have to look at her. I would have to look at her life, whether it's a woman or a man. You know what I mean? Like I have to look at their life.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like who are they now? Who are they now? Can they give me some wisdom or some or can they give me loyalty? Can they get? Cause I mean, some shit just because it wasn't on camera don't mean it wasn't done. Nowadays, man, in my age group, we're dealing with the girls who a bit younger than me who might have grew up in that 106 and Park age group. Shit, motherfuckers was just fucking because they was bored or having fun. So most girls I know done been with girls or may have had some crazy shit go on, you know.
Right. I like that you said just because it wasn't on film don't mean it didn't happen. Caller, turn down your device. What's going on? How you feeling about these? I know.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Dion? What's good, bro?
You already know I'm about to turn the fuck up. Nah, but man, I don't want no bird that used to be a porn star. She done swallowed cum all in her mouth. Like, we know the women that we deal with ain't no spring chicken. She ain't had a couple dicks in her mouth. I don't want a woman to give me no head on the first date because that let me know I'm not special. Make me wait a little while. Because if I know if you give me some head on the first date, look how many other women me and you ain't gave head. I just know I don't listen. I'm gonna be honest with you.
She might just be feeling
you. Be honest with me and tell me her past. She can sit there and be honest with me and tell me her past. I'm cutting out because I don't want to even deal with no ex-woman that was a lesbian. You understand what I'm saying? Because who's to say you ain't gonna go back to want to suck that thing again or get sucked on? So I just, you dating a woman that used to be a porn star, your guys be like, ooh, they go 2,000. You know what I'm saying? She probably ain't even you. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you know she was an ex-porn star, she ain't got banged all in the booty hole and everything, and then now she won't let you hit it from the back. You like, damn, well, I gotta pay you? I seen your movies, but I can't tap that asshole, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do it, man. I just got standards for myself. I don't know. And then, like, I be telling them, I don't want to know your past. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to know how many things you had in your mouth or how many people you had sex with. That ain't none of my business. Because, sometimes us as men, we do be like, I'm at the age now where I know I'm not going to bang you the best. I ain't got the longest swipe. I ain't going to bang you the best. I tell a woman all the time, like, look, fuck with me, it's going to be a waste of your time. Is you tapping me out, Cat? What's going on?
I'm just putting an end to the round. Like, we gotta just end of the round. We gotta get a standing 8 count for Dion. As soon as you start talking about your swipe and all that, I'm like, hold on, let's go to your corner. Go to your corner.
Yeah.
We have to deduct the point. We have to deduct the point.
I'm just saying, though, like, you are feeling intimidated if you an ex-porn star, you calling yourself. Like, that's what white people do, man. Let white people do what they do. They date dogs and kiss giraffes in the mouth and all that. We don't want our girls to be ex-porn stars or
no, it's not even. Well, Dion, I respect your opinion on that, and I'm saying that's fine because that's an individual preference. But I'm saying even if you were like, okay, well, I'm gonna go hear this person who's like a motivational speaker, or they bring your job, bring somebody in to talk about, we'll have a workshop and she's gonna come and speak. And you see her come in and you say, whoa, or him for that matter. Whoa, like, dude I'm not finna sit here and listen to him.
I don't watch porn, so I don't know what guy, I don't know the porn stars. But I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm just going to keep it real with you. I don't want to date no ex-junkies. I don't want to date no ex-lesbians. You know what I'm saying? And if I find that out, like, I got to go. And I don't care. You know what I'm saying? How far we into the relationship? You know what I'm saying? I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? That hey, it's just some things that I just can't deal.
So just
with.
Just for shits and giggles, Dion, you got a son, and he comes to you and he says, "Dad, I want you to know I'm a girl, and as soon as I'm grown, I'm gonna get the surgery. But I am a female, and I would like you to call me by my female name." What do you say to him?
I told you, Kev, I said I love from a distance. I ain't fucking with him no more. You's a gump to me. You know what I'm saying? You a gump. I was raised in them old days, man. You know, I ain't going with none of this new shit. You wake up one morning talking about you a man, or my daughter went and got her titties cut off, and now she talking about she about to be a boy. And I'm not going for none of that, man. I'm old school, man. My grandfather and them was born in 1925. I was raised with sharecroppers. And we know a man is a man and a woman is a woman. So he could do all that if he wants to. I love you, son, but I love you from a distance. I can't support you. I really don't want you contacting me. Just live your life. You know, it is what it is.
Dion, he can't even call you. He can't even call you.
Nah, he can't call me, man. I love you from a distance. I'll leave you some money when I die. You know, if your surgery ain't all the way done, you have a little money. But just go live your life, man. Go live your life. You know, if you feel like you want to be a woman for the rest of your life, but when you know, because I'm going to tell you this, boy, when one of them boys bend you over and try to take it in from the back door, and you might not like that, you know, you want to come back on home, it's going to be too late. Because once a man cross that line, it's over. You might as well go on and stay over there or move to a different state. I'm for real, though, Kev. You already know that, though. So,
I got you.
All this on new age stuff, I ain't with that, man. You know, I'm 45. I'll be 46 in November. We're going to stick to what we know, and we're going to stick and we're going to keep it real. That's just like, you know, you smoking weed and like, I like to put a little Primo on there. Nigga, you a crackhead. Just because you ain't smoked the pipe, you put the Primo on there. Now, you probably use powder, but no, you might as well snort the coke and cook the coke up. So, you know, it's just, it ain't no gray area with none of that, Kev. You know, I mean, you know, it is what it is. And I don't knock nobody for loving their child through thick and thin, because that's them. But should nobody knock me for my decisions that I make? You know what I'm saying? And people will be like, well, your mama them loves you. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what, I was a criminal. And I still am a fucking criminal. I just don't be out here committing crimes, but I got criminal thoughts. You know what I'm saying? But being a criminal, and I don't know, you know, with people will be like, well, a criminal and a homosexual, you know, they'll try to do the comparison and all that. You know how people is. But I'm just an old school nigga, man, with old school ways. That's just how it is, man. But I'm going to hang up. I made it back. I'm trying to get up out of here. I made it back to the gig. I got a couple little things to do. I'm going to finish listening to you, man. Salute my Outlaw family. Love you niggas. Where old Juice Lady been at, man? She been missing in action, man.
I don't know.
On the real, she probably scared.
She's busy. She got a lot going on, though. She got a lot going on. So,
I can believe it. But, you know, as long as we still here, guys, man. I'm telling you, Kev, we're going to have to hook up again before the holidays, man. On the real. See, I ain't that nigga you want to invite over for Thanksgiving dinner, because I'm very offensive. You know, everybody don't like me. I just ain't everybody's cup of tea, and I can dig that, though. You know what I'm saying? I can dig that. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm a misogynist. I'm racist. I'm prejudiced. I'm biased. I don't give a fuck. I'm America. Born and raised in America. Apple pie. I'm just a real nigga, you know? But like I said, I'm going to let y'all go, man. Love, bro.
Peace out, man. Peace out.
All right, yep. Yeah, love.
All right. Alexandria Brewer, how you doing, my sister? She said, hey, family. Oh, man, just getting it out on the Wednesday night, man. Outlaw Radio, Milwaukee Madness. Big news. We've signed Dame Lillard. And if you don't know basketball, you will be very, very surprised. Like, I don't see him going out like Westbrook, because at one point Westbrook was like, Russell Westbrook was unstoppable, and then he got to LA and got to looking like dumpster fire. I really think this is going to be something to behold if you like basketball. Like, when was the last time you had two cats who average over 30 points a game on the same team, and they figured out how to play together? And it's not like it's going to be all on them. You still have Bobby Burlai Portis. You still have Lopez. You still have Middleton if he can be healthy. You know, this will be something else. I was listening to Charles Barkley, which I rarely do, but I do respect his opinion on basketball. And he was saying it's a good day to be a Milwaukee Buck fan, because this automatically puts them in the seat, and people would assume that they will be the NBA champions next year. We'll see. This could be like, wow. Or it could be like, I think it depends on how well Dame adjusts to Milwaukee. But I feel like if he was able to adjust in Portland, Oregon, he could be able to adjust in Milwaukee, because Portland is isolated out in the country too, like Milwaukee. It's just out north in the Northwest. She said, I'm not calling no singular grown ass person they. The pronoun game is cold. People say, and I forget because, man, I'm old school too. And so I forget I still call women her and I still call guys him. And so like I see people like Wayne Brady came out and said, I'm what did he call himself? Trisexual or some shit like that. He's polysexual. I can't remember what it was, but
he's making up some shit.
He love everybody, men, women. It's just everybody. People say I'm non-binary. I don't have a gender. My thing is, yes, you do. You do have a gender, right? Like I don't know if you're in denial or not, but you do have one. Pansexual. There we go, Alexandria. That's what Wayne Brady is now. He said I'm pansexual. It's so many alternative lifestyles that you don't know about. And that's why I really like what Rail said when he said, just because it ain't on video don't mean it didn't happen. Because there are a lot of people right now who, if you knew who they really were or what they really did or their sexual habits or whatever, it might shock you. But that's why I say every adult, I'm with Rail on every adult and it's consensual, you could do whatever as long as you keep it to yourself. The problem comes when you start to share and then you get upset when people take a position on it. Well, they never would have known if you didn't tell them. You know what I mean? So people talk about bisexual, trisexual, pansexual, non-binary. Oh, man, and it's a lot of men and women who, how many people out there now talking about this poly stuff? Like, oh, I'm poly. People now tend to get on the internet and see something and say, hey, let's do that. And that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to judge them. I personally don't put my whatever's going on between my woman and I don't put it on social media because it's nobody's business, right? Like, so, people, I don't do this, I don't do that.
I think it's I look at it like a pendulum. You know what I'm saying? Like how with a pendulum, the farther
I think Rail froze up. Watch him come back talking.
It's going to swing back to the left. You know what I'm saying? Are coming out of an era where, oh my bad, what'd you say?
You had froze up, and every time you do that, when you come back, it be blah, 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 and it's like the feed catches up.
Oh,
I'm used to it. That's why I said when he come back, you'll be talking fast. But it's not you; it's the feed. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was saying just like a pendulum. The farther you pull shit to the right, the farther it's gonna swing to the left. And I think because we're coming out of a baby boomer era that was so restrictive, it's going to eventually balance itself out. But in order to bust out of that like dig this shit. Like my pops was born 1964, and he grew up watching Leave It to Beaver, all that shit to where the man was the white dude with the clean cut face. Had his study that he is chilling when he get off from work.
Smoke his pipe.
Right. So my father hated my beard. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, that beard make you look like Al Qaeda, man. Shave that beard, But I understand because of his generation, shit. Evil Dr. Spock had the goatee. You know what I'm saying? So subconsciously that generation viewed facial hair as you was the evil person with the facial hair type shit. So I think because we coming out of that baby boomer restrictiveness, there's a lot of people that's excessively sexual, excessively indulgent of pleasures because of the pendulum shit. But hopefully it's gonna balance itself out where people can understand that, there has to be balance. Like right now, the society is so sexual, yet sex is still considered taboo to the point where people are over sexualized, but they become deviants in the shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to sneak and do it, but they still don't even give themselves the freedom to fully indulge in the wholeness of the event. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Like you hear about the people who got sneaky links and shit like that. Like some people have been told that sex is so bad for so long that the only time they can enjoy it is when they view it as something that shouldn't be done, like sneaky links. Right. Or spit in my mouth or whatever. I don't know. To each their own. I can't judge it. If that's what you do, that's what you
nasty
do.
Ass.
Right? But that's what they do. Right. But I think it's just I think it's just the swing of that pendulum. We coming from where motherfuckers on a TV show slept in 2 separate beds.
Type shit. Knowing that your mom and daddy was in the next room in the same bed, right? Stupid. America trying to keep, that was America at its best, while they was going, they were against communism, but they had some of the same practices in how they control the media. The hypocrisy in your democracy coming to a theater near you. Alexandra Brewer said, I was accepting until they started calling us biological women birthers. Yeah, or cisgender. Like, I didn't understand why all of a sudden I got to be a name. like, what part of you getting your freedom or your rights or your acceptance involved me getting kicked in the back of the head? I never understood that.
That'd be the same people, though, that get mad when you call a woman a female. She's more than her reproductive function, but then they gonna call them birthers.
Yeah, I used to when the show started. Like I my wife gave me a warning because when women would call in, I say thank you for calling, sweetheart or something like that. It was like not in trying to come up with the girl, but like how men say, hey, baby girl, hey, baby girl, how you doing? And my wife said, no, you got to be careful with that. You don't call no woman. Yeah. Like in the job place, if you say, hey, baby, how you doing? Like, and I would never do this at work because I understand. But it's a lot of brothers who you see who walk around the job, and that's how they talk to all the females. Hey, what's happening, baby girl? How you doing? Girl, you always looking good. Like, I would be terrified to even compliment a woman at work now. Like, hey, you looking nice today, or you change your hair, because next thing you know, you sitting in HR like, huh? What is it? She said she was uncomfortable. Like it's just, that's how crazy it's gotten with men and women now, where you just don't even know. Like you said, I refer to you as her and you mad. Well, I'm sorry, because I got it bad about saying females. And my daughter told me, Dad, a lot of women don't like to be referred to as females. I'm like, what are you talking about, Tay?
I don't understand it, but shit, it is what it is.
That white feminist shit that they done put in our sisters' heads, man.
Shit.
Kamar, and Rail, we didn't acknowledge on Monday that it was National Daughters Day, I believe, on Monday. And we didn't acknowledge it. And we're both
people be knowing this shit.
I guess the same way when I found out that it was National Cheeseburger Day, or what was it? What was the one? Trauma? What was it that we did? And people, Sean was mad because I said it recognizing.
Yeah, but I mean, how they be knowing? Like, you wake up in the morning and you just know this.
I don't know. It's a good question. Who makes these days up? Who assigns them? Right. But this was, people were putting up pictures on Facebook of their daughters. So I had this particular picture of my son, my daughter, and I. And the thing was, my kids were making fun of me because they was like, Dad, why are you always trying to look mean when you're not even mean? Right. Like, my kids always tell me all the time, Dad, you ain't no tough guy. You ain't, if I start talking about, when I was young, we used to do this, we used to do that. I'm a street dude. No, you ain't. To them, I'm Dad. So they was making fun of me. So we took a picture. And I was mean mugging. My daughter was mean mugging. My son couldn't even hold character. He was trying, but he had a smirk. And I was surprised. A lot of people were saying this is a nice picture and whatnot. But it was for National Daughter Day. And people were saying, why y'all look so mad? Why do y'all look pissed? Especially my daughter, because she got this real, like, nigga, I kill you look on her face. And so, but it was a happy day. We were joking around. I guess that's the strange way that my kids and I joke around. Like, let's mean mug and take a picture. Right. But now I didn't acknowledge it. And I'm so proud of my daughter. I got one baby girl. I love her to death. And so I put that on social media because I know she'd be snooping in and out my page. So I know if I didn't put nothing up, she might have been like, Dad, why you didn't say nothing for National Daughter Day? But people's reaction to the photo was incredible. And I also had a conversation with her about me observing a little girl. And this was at the homecoming game, ironically, before the shooting. There was a man there with his daughter. She couldn't have been no more than 2. But she was leading him Like she was leading the way. He was just kind of walking behind her. And I said, man, that is something little girls will do. Because your little boy, if he run off, he say, hey, man, get back here. You need to be done something you ain't supposed to. Your little girl say, Daddy, come on. And grab your hand and you follow her. Where you taking me, baby girl? That's just, you have to be done led into some quicksand by your little girls. Because we tend to say, it's something about the little girls, man. That make the father say, whatever you want, baby. I done seen the most thugged out dudes not be able to handle their own daughter because she run the show. Like, Daddy. So, okay, whatever you want, baby girl. So shout out to all the daughters out there. Man, I think it's time for us to bounce. I think we've covered a fair amount of ground tonight. Unless one of you gentlemen have something you want to discuss, something you saw in the media, anywhere, any place, anything you thought interesting, something that you had hoped we would discuss that we didn't. I would say now would be the time to do that. If one of you wanted to approach this topic or subject.
Yeah, I think you pretty much touched everything.
That's another way you telling me you talk too goddamn much. Rel, I know you got something because you looking like I was just gonna put this on my high frequency page, but I can talk about it now. What you got for us tonight?
I just want to remind everybody that sometimes in this world, the only thing you can control in the day is your perception and response to the shit that happened in that day. We can't control the event, but we can control our response to the event. Some things that may help you respond better is just learning how to take a breath and pausing. You know what I'm saying? There's different kind of breath work that can be done, but I find myself doing breath work every day, and it really do help. Just regulate my mental state. As I said before, we entered fall on September 23rd, meaning that the days are going to get progressively darker faster, and a lot of people succumb to depression. But one of the things you can do is breathe. It's free. I try to breathe and move daily now. You know what I'm saying? Just as we go into the winter, gotta do a lot of detoxing before that cold and flu season hit, because otherwise you're gonna get hit all at once. So lately I've been trying to get my movement in. I've been working out for about a month and a half now and starting to see and feel results. And I can really see how it's benefited me just in my mental health, because it gives you a sense of progress and achievement, even if it's just getting on the floor and doing one girly style or modified push-up. That's one more shits that you ain't do yesterday, so you could be proud of yourself of doing today and inspired to maybe try to do 2 tomorrow.
Okay. Well put. I knew you had something to contribute. Feel free to drop that in anytime you feel the need to. Just say, Kev, I got something I remember. Sometimes you gotta cut me off, because if you don't, I'll just keep going. Ask Kamar. He just found other shit to do in the background, like he on one. Let me put this puzzle together and shit. Kamar, what you got coming up this weekend, homie?
I'll be at the Fondy Market Saturday. Other than that, y'all can come on down to the House of Vitality.
That's right. Sherman Phoenix style, right? Come on down. Mm-hmm. Well, season's closing. I'm still yielding from my garden. I don't know if up until the frost fall, I feel like we're gonna be cultivating. What you got going on this weekend?
I just told my lady we need to go ahead and grab some more of these collards out the garden, so that hopefully they shoot up one more time before it's time to call it quits. I'm trying to stay off of it, but I was like, no, shit, I might be able to pull it one more time, shit. And I got this cabbage and cauliflower that I'm probably about to cut down this week. You probably have some cabbage from the garden.
Okay. Well, I wish you good harvesting. This rain will do us some good. I know my garden is pretty happy. I've been impressed by the fact that just growing a garden and having stuff growing in your yard, like when you get to the point where you can literally go out there and pick some every day, you will never go hungry. Now, you might not like it, but it won't be because you didn't have nothing to eat. It's because you didn't want what we had.
Right.
That's what my mother used to always tell me. Like, you ain't never went a day in your life hungry. Now, I might have cooked something that you didn't want to eat, but it was damn sure some food in the house. So I've always appreciated that. I want to remind you all to stay safe, man. Love on your kids, love on yourself. Always seek for clarity, man. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. I get frustrated sometimes, especially with the way Milwaukee's set up, because people don't give Outlaw Radio its just due. But I know it's coming. But I get tired of waiting, right? And so I get frustrated sometimes, but then there's always something to remind me that the struggle is sweet, man. And sometimes I don't think you can really appreciate something if you get it too fast or if you get it overnight. I think hard work and perseverance makes you appreciate the blessing more, right? And so that's why I just say I just got to remain committed to what we do on Outlaw Radio. Shout out to y'all, Rel and Kamar, for sticking with it and rocking with us, and rocking with myself in particular. I know I'm not everybody's, you say Liz Brown say everything ain't for everybody. Right. And so I thank y'all. I thank the supporters, people who share the show. I see a lot of people who share the show. And it's just a lesson in humility every time I see somebody take what we do, our platform, and say, dude, you got to hear this and share it. So it's something that I've always been humbled by, but I see it more now. And so I appreciate that. But it takes, teamwork to make the dream work. And if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So please hit that Cash App. We got big plans. Eagle Eyes, Shaw and myself are trying to kind of shape out a brand and trying to make it be the brand that represents Milwaukee. Because I don't think anybody's done a good job of creating that lane yet, right? And that's no shade to anybody else who's a content creator or doing what they do. But I don't think there's a definitive voice. And I feel like after unbiasedly listen to all of other people's platforms, Outlaw Radio happens to be the premier one. So if you rock with me, share the show. If you support us, get some vitality. If you love us, hit Rail up and say, let me get one of them books, man. Or whatever you do, try to keep yourself informed about everything that's going on around you, because as long as you are in the know, you can never be a fool, right? And if you one of those types of people who believe, fuck it, I know everything, can't nobody tell me shit, I'm going to be able to conquer this world myself, your mama should make fun of you and your daddy should have pulled out. I'll see you on Monday, man. Peace and love.